It's Loop Dark Snout here, and I'm glad you're here because you're watching a channel that's one of a kind. How many retro coders are over 50 and basically furries? This is weird. I'm probably the only one in the world. And if there is another, I'd sure love to know about it because, yeah, I want to see what this is like from the other side. Anyways, yes, this is my third foray into this random maze thing. And, well, last time I made a random maze rather quickly, and then I checked to see if it can be solved. That is there a path from the left side of the screen to the right? And this time around, it does the same thing, only it shows that path when it finds it. And on top of that, it shows all the other paths that don't quite work out. It's pretty cool to watch. And as an added bonus, can it find a maze that has two ways through it? that's what do you call it? Extra credit, dude. Yeah. Anyways, this one really tapped the old noodle. But let's see how it went. Okay, I haven't been documenting any of this, but finally got it working. The first thing I had to do is make sure it can represent the maze in a section of sprites, because this is using 7 expanded XY sprites, and you can tell the yellows is the duds, the green is the successful path, and if I hit the button it'll try again. And I can change a few pointers to adjust it from, like, this is 3600, 3800, 3000, blah blah blah. So I had it here and then I adjusted it here, and this should now work on the next stripe. See? So the only thing I have left to do now, because it's putting the data into memory, and very difficult. This was a challenge to get this frickin' thing right, because, well, wait till it stops. Come on. It's actually plotting sprite data underneath the text layer. I'll flip the priorities and you can take a look at it. Okay, here we go. Oh, what a freaking mess, because the sprites that it's making are now on top of the text. So we got to wait till it stops again, or I could just hold the button, but yeah, let's just do that. You can see how it's kind of making it look purpley. Oh, see, this looks better. You see? Because if you jig-jag these along, they're actually 4 pixels wide. Every little single multicolor sprite expanded pixel is 4 regular pixels wide. And I already worked this out. It was really difficult, but you see, oh, come on. If you plot it correctly, you can make sure that stuff appears exactly where you need it. It was carefully plotted. So like I said, the only thing I have left to do now is write a sprite multiplexor, and it's not hard. It really isn't hard. And because the basics of it, I have most of the sprites are going to appear at a set X location. So all you have to do is change the Y and change the pointers. And the rules are rather simple. Once a sprite is being displayed, you can change the Y register and it won't screw anything up. It'll just tell it, when you get here, start displaying it again. So when it does get to there, all I have to do is make sure I quickly update the sprite pointer to the next chunk of data that's valid for the next row of, because it's reading it from memory. This is so easy. It'll be a little flickery because I'm not a demo coder. I can't pull this off super well. I believe I'm done the multiplexor. I have not run this yet. So if this runs and works from the get-go, that is amazing, but it's probably going to crash. Here we go. Ooh. Oh. Yep. It's pretty. Well, it's multiplexing, but it's certainly not doing it right. And it's locked up too. Crap. Well, you can see it's not perfect. Of course it's not perfect, never is. And what's going on down here? I got to think about that. This is my debugging stuff. I was having a major problem where the color on the sides was just constantly changing. It was cycling through the interrupts like constantly, and I couldn't figure it out. And it actually turned out a DC0D. I wrote a 0 to that location to kill the interrupts, the timer interrupt. You actually have to write 127 to it to have it nuke all the timer sources. Well, you could write a number 1 to it. I thought a 0 would kill it. That made all the difference. But now I got to go back in here and figure out this. This is the part that's really getting me. Why is it ending? Where's this coming from? Oh, I don't like that. Yeah, but I don't know. I'll figure it out. Be right back. Look how freaking massive this solution is. That is one path. You can follow it. Oh, wow. I'm still stumped as to what's going on down here. Tell you, this is a super head scratcher. And this is just annoying. I don't know if I'm going to live with that because, I mean, I think I have my raster interrupt starting at line 49, maybe. You have to start it one line early to get the sprites started where you want and blah, blah, blah. I think this is why my sprites were corrupting at the very bottom. I have a value in my table wrong. This should be 84, 2084. Well, it's not the prettiest looking example, but it's fixed. Yay. Now, how do I fix this? This top sprite begins at raster line 50, and yet my interrupt is set for line 49, which actually happens on raster line 48. So that's really confusing. And as you can see, I've tightened things up. I made it sort of wait until the next raster line begins, and I have the accumulator ready for the very first one. So it'll plot the pointer, add 1, plot it, plot it, plot it. So that worked out well here. And the only reason it's not working here, I believe, is because of this little snafu. This is actually a bad line. So it's delaying the, oh man. So how do I kill that? Okay, as you can tell here, I've been working a long time on this. This is the best I can hope for. I'm gonna succumb to the defeat. I have wasted far too much chasing this problem, but it looks really nice, right? Anyway, so I'm gonna press the button and you'll finally get to see. Look at that. So it found one, right? Nice and big. Now I have it set to stop when it finds 1. But you can tell it's trying every single one, every combination, 25 possibles every time. And it'll stop when it finds 1. But like I said before, I can make it so it'll skip the 1s, because what we want is one that makes it across twice. Yeah, okay, that's nice. Okay, so now on the next victory here, I'm going to switch it up to fast mode, and here we go. So watch this. I'm going to flip the switch, and everything on the screen should disappear. It might crash because you're not supposed to do this, but anyway. Oh, did it crash? Maybe it's, you notice it's solid enough, so if I slow it down, yeah. Well, look at that. My code is better than I thought. But okay, the difference here is it's when it goes to create the maze, it's doing it fast. So it's actually pulling the same random number repeatedly until it changes, because it's faster than the SID can make them now. And the maze has a, look at that. It's an interesting pattern to it, because it's coming up with the same number a certain number of times in a row. Oh, it's freaking pretty cool, isn't it? Okay. Man, I gotta take out that little, that slows it down. You know, like this key press nonsense. We don't need to do that. I just want to see it rock. Okay, I'll be right back. This is gonna be cool. Oh yeah, and every time I want to get out of here, I actually have to reset the whole machine, because the ROMs are out. We are still slow at the moment, but if it comes across a nice green one, you should see a flash of green and it'll move on. I won't have to hit the button now. Man, when you want one to happen, it doesn't happen. You might see it, it'll be fast. it assumes everything's a fail. There. And when it does get one that makes it all the way through, my code is basically set to, well, it flips a flag, and then it goes right back and redraws that path. But instead of plotting it with the 0-1 bit pattern, a simple OR, it doesn't mask out bits, it plots it with the 1-0 bit pattern, which makes obviously a 1-1. And in sprites, that is super handy because the 0-1 and the 1-1 bit pairs are the multicolors for both for the sprites. It's the 1-0 bit pair that is, for some reason, the sprite color. So that would actually make it difficult for me. This is actually easier. With one change in my source, I can adjust the color of that or the winning color. But yeah, okay, I'm going to crank this. You ready? Let's go. Now, if this finds one with two solutions, well, it's going to be a hack because it's cheating. It's not getting there. Oh, we already found one. But as you can see, look at all the similarities in the maze. This is a flaw, not a flaw of the SID. It's cheating because you're reading so fast. You're getting the same value multiple times. And of course, it's going to have an effect. But, well, I'm just going to hold this phone nice and gentle here. Yeah. Well, you can kind of follow this. I mean, I don't really have to take a picture of it. I'm going to after this, but that's cool. We have one with two. Okay, so we are going to slow this down. There we go. Now I'll press the button. Well, yeah, I guess you can tell it's slow because our little sprite glitches is back. Now, as you can tell, I can still have the pause function. I have this. If I hold it, it'll end at the beginning. Well, at the end, before it wipes the sprite data and creates the next maze. But where am I going with this? Well, you can tell that the maze is a little more maze-like. It's not the repeated nonsense that what you get from reading the SID at warp speed. However, it is 9:02 p.m. on my little clock there. So I'm going to let this run, and we'll see how long it takes to get two. Well, it only took till 9:08, and now we got a legit slow speed one. There they are. Oh boy. I thought of something. Even though it's cheating to use the super CPU, what I could do to stop that glitching randomness is actually slow down the maze making process a little bit. So the time between random number fetches is sufficient for the SID to create a brand new random number to grab. So I'll hit the button and it'll go back to work, and it won't stop until it finds at least two. But like I said, I could adjust that to 3. But that might take hours, because it took about, what, 7 or 8 minutes to come up with a 2. So I think I'm going to, well, just for fun, I'm going to crank it. I think I'm going to adjust this. Ooh, look at that sucker. And it's a red border tells you it's a 2. But as you can see, that everything's, it's obviously not random enough. So I'm gonna make this change, and then I'm gonna run this sucker. I'll test it out, make sure it works fine, and then I'm gonna ask for 3 or better, and don't bug me until you find it. I'm getting a little more efficient, whatever. That's in every section. Now we're looking for a 2. Now I'll pause it here, pardon the pun, but you see the mazes are not tainted anymore as badly as they were when I didn't have the slowdown in place. But anyways, so now it's not going to bug me until it finds 2, although this might be pretty quick. That's a 2. Okay. Oh man, I don't even want to follow it, but my eye can't help but it's tracing as I go. Do. Oh, you son of a bitch. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, this still finds them pretty quick. I'm gonna kill this program and start it up again, make the changes, and set it for 3. And It's currently 9:20. I bet you this is going to take a long time after this. It's after 2 in the morning. This thing has not found a single screen with 3 solutions on it. And this is at 20 megahertz. I mean, I could leave it running all night, but it's so unlikely. I am just going to give up on it. I'm going to power this thing down, finish my video. Anyway, thanks for watching this little coding adventure. Have a good night.